So this Thursday, during the lab session, we will be having our offline class in which will not be recording anything, but we will be revising the entire MOSFET part. And whoever has any doubts, we are going to clarify all of them. Because the whole focus, the primary focus of this PMMD course is to make sure that all of you are very much confident about at least one topic, that is the MOSFET. Okay, we will go through it meticulously. So I will be referring to these notes as well as explain it on the board. Okay, so I don't think, and we will have a specific discussions, one-to-one discussions with each and every student who is there. Okay, yeah. All right, welcome to this session of the PMMD lecture. In today's lecture, we are essentially going to complete off the MOSFET intrinsic capacitances, and the topic which is still left is the saturation region capacitance, and we need to investigate this saturation region capacitance because this capacitance is what you will encounter when you are dealing with circuits. Okay, either in the linear region operation, which we have done in the previous lecture, or the saturation region operation. Okay. All right. So the first thing that we have already seen in our previous lecture is that during in the saturation region after pinch off, so notice that there is a small region here which does not have any channel. Okay. So the channel ceases to exist between the source channel junction and the channel drain junction. Okay, so that means the electrons, the free electrons, are essentially accumulated between 0 and x. Now what we will observe is that to find out this value of x, we have to do a lot of analysis and all that. Okay, because L is something which we already know. So the value of x essentially depends on the values of VGS and instantaneous values of VGS and VDS. So in the linear region, calculation becomes simpler because we know that the channel length is capital L. Whereas in case of saturation region, we do not know what the value of the channel effective channel length is. It is always definitely less than capital L. So we are essentially trying to find out this L. This is the channel length modulation. We all know this phenomenon, right? So the first thing first, the channel drain junction. So this is the channel region and this is the drain region, right? So channel drain region is at pinch off. That means there is no channel here. So if there is no channel, then that means the capacitance is essentially going to be very, very less. Because now in within this region, what we are observing is that there are some plus charges here and the minus charges are going to be scattered in somewhere in the depletion boundary, because that is where the depletion charges are located, right? So this capacitance, this charge separation is much higher than this region, because here also we are going to have the same uh, kind of distribution of the charges. However, in this region the charges are only TOX distance away, few nanometer distance away, whereas the charge separation in the pinch off region here is micrometer distance away, or at least several hundreds of nanometers away, because of the depletion region. Correct? So that is the reason why we will assume that we will find out, not assume, we will find out that CGD, that means the gate to drain capacitance, will approximately be equal to 0. Okay, so that's very easy to understand, um, but still there is an inversion region. It's not a subthreshold कि यहाँ पर कोई channel region ही नहीं है. No, it is in deep saturation. So what we will do is, we know this relation, right? Q inversion is equal to, I can put a red box here also, just to remind you that this is a very vital equation. So this was the relation which we already know. Now, what is important for us to understand is that VOV is basically the VGS minus VT, and capital V is the voltage at the point X along the channel due to VDS. That is how we defined it, right? So capital V was a function of X. As X goes from X equal to 0, that is a channel source junction, and it goes all the way to x equal to L, which is the channel drain junction. Okay, so x is somewhere in between. So essentially what we understand is, if it is a GCA, gradual channel approximation, then this V is a linear variation, has a linear variation with x. Okay, so V is something which we have to figure out. Now at pinch off, we know pinch off means at this point at x. Okay, at this point Q inversion is 0 because here the Q inversion was large and it was decreasing, and it was essentially reduced to 0 at the pinch off point. Correct? So Q inversion is 0. So essentially we will just simply put 0 here, and essentially we will get this relation. This is again something which we have seen previously. Now, notice that if we want to figure out this generalized value of x and the generalized expression for Q inversion, then we have to somehow relate it to some parameter which is invariant along the channel. What is that? It happens to be the current ID. Okay, I told you earlier, right? So the ID what you measure here, ID what you measure here, ID what you measure here, and the ID what you measure here, it's always going to be the same. The current components will be different. Okay, so that means at one point there will be more diffusion rather than the drift. Some other point there will be this is here, for example, more towards the source side, there will be more diffusion rather than the drift. As we go towards the middle of the channel region, there will be more drift rather than the diffusion. As we go beyond the pinch off point, it is rather tunneling current. Okay, tunneling current and drift, but no diffusion. Diffusion is not possible. Diffusion means there should be a concentration gradient. Here there is no concentration gradient. All right, so what we understand from here is that irrespective of the position, irrespective of the point on the channel where we are essentially trying to measure or trying to find out the current, total current will always remain the same, irrespective of the distribution of the currents. So like which component is dominating, that is definitely going to differ, but the total current remains the same. Okay, so now what we will do is ID is equal to W into Y into Jn. Notice, so what we have done is W into dy. This Y is what? This is the channel cross section here. So this is basically your Y. What is the W? The depth of the device, right? So essentially, I told you, whenever we are bothered about uh, finding out the current, we will always consider the cross-sectional area of the channel, not the top area. Top area, we will look into it when we will find out the capacitance. We will see how capacitance comes. So from here, what we'll be doing is, we know that the expression for Jn is given by this. So minus q is the electron charge. Nxy happens to be the electron density. Remember x and y, so the electron density or the carrier free concentration of free electrons in the channel, that is essentially a function of both x and y. X is because of the lateral field due to VDS. Y component is due to the vertical field due to VS or VGB. Into the field, so we are assuming the low field situation. So in the low field situation is mu n minus dv dx. So if we have time in this course, and if we are going into the deep submicron technology, so whatever we are dealing now is basically valid for the submicron technology. But if we go more and more to the deep submicron technology, or let us say nano electronic technology, then this equation is not valid. We will look into that when we deal with scaling theory. Okay, we will be beginning with scaling theory very soon. So in the scaling theory, we will notice that the field is not proportional to VDR, or in other words, VDR is not proportional to the field. Okay, so what happens is, remember that concept of mobility, the mobility mu n. That mu n, this thing basically breaks down when we are going into the deep submicron or nanoelectronic technology. So whatever we are doing in this course, or at least the standard of PMMD here, is uh, submicron. Okay, so we are essentially dealing with like 65 nanometer, 90 nanometer, 130 nanometer, this kind of technology node. Okay, definitely less than 180, but I mean 180 is also, it is valid, but we are essentially going to 65 at most. But if we go to 45, 32, 16, 14, 10 nanometers, so even those kind of nanotechnologies, we have to basically revisit these equations and find out the situations over there. So we will discuss that after we deal with scaling theory. Okay, so those are the detrimental or problematic effects of scaling. We will just look into it later. So this is for submicron technology, not deep submicron, which is around 50 nanometers, or nanotechnology, which is around 10 nanometer order. Okay, so now what is the expression over here? ID is equal to this, minus and minus will cancel. Nice. Q mu n, this W, dv dx, and this integral is dy, right? So this dv dx will come in the front outside the integral, and we are left with this. Remember, nxy is a function of y. Okay, so now what we observe is that Q inversion, which we have already seen, is equal to minus Q is the electronic charge, and the electronic concentration, or the carrier density, electron density inside the channel. So that is given by this one. Remember, it is n, small n is electron density, that is per centimeter cube. So let me just write it here for your understanding. So this is per centimeter cube. You are integrating with dy, so that is multiplied by centimeters. Okay, and this is minus q is in coulombs, right? So what is the unit for this? Coulombs per centimeter square. This is typical, right? So whenever we are dealing with device quantities, they will always be per unit area. All right, so later on we will derive everything in terms of the terminal voltages, terminal charges, and terminal capacitance. So terminal capacitance will have only coulombs, correct? So we will look into it. So this part is what we know, whereas this is the equation which we had derived previously in our previous lecture. So I am just writing it over here. Again, if you find out the um, dimensional analysis, what is this coulomb? Coulomb COX. What is this COX? COX is farad per centimeter square multiplied by VOV minus MV is again volts. Farad into volt is again coulomb per centimeter. Got it? So I will always recommend that whenever you are making any derivations or doing calculations in your exams, even wherever you do it, always do a dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis gives you a sanity check of whether you are doing it correctly or not. That's a very, very important, or what should I say, rather helpful step whenever you are doing calculations. I will always recommend doing it. Doesn't take time, but it makes sure that you are not missing out any point, many terms. All right, very good. So since these are equal, so all I'm going to do is, instead of this q inversion, remember why this minus had come. This is q into this integral, whereas q inversion has got a minus q into this integral, so that's why it was minus. Okay, so in q inversion place I'm going to write this, so it becomes minus, will come over here, minus cox, so minus minus becomes plus cox vov minus mv. All right, okay, so now we are going to simply put dx on the left hand side. So id integral dx, again the whole reason why we are doing this exercise is because we wanted to relate x and v with l and vds. Okay, so that we can have some meaningful uh, model for this, because x and v are something which we do not know, that is going to vary with the channel length modulation. That's very difficult to determine. Whereas capital L and VDS, they are primarily determined by the technology itself. Okay? So what we will do is 0 to x, and here we'll put 0 to v. I'm just integrating this. Okay, this is dv here, dx goes on the left hand side. Cool. The rest of these terms are constants. ID and mu and w cox are constants. So what we get is ID is equal to mu and cox w by x. Notice I'm not putting capital L over here, into VOV into V minus m by 2 V square. Now, clearly you can understand that if we put x equal to capital L, we will get the relation which we are all accustomed to. This we had seen in our, I think, 1 or 2 lectures earlier. But at the same time, this is one relation which we have got, that is the current, when we are considering the entire channel length. But at the point x, not exactly on the drain channel boundary, not exactly at the drain channel boundary, but rather somewhere in the arbitrary position because of this channel length modulation. Remember, ID is still going to be the same. We already know that this is a one relation, ID. This is another relation, ID. So left hand side remains the same only. So we can write finally that we can essentially bring it here and bring it here. So what do we get? You can cancel all these terms, and essentially you are left with, notice, a relation between capital V and VOV, and X and capital L, and of course VDS. All right. So if you notice, it is um, a second order equation. So from there you can essentially find out the relation like this. What is important for us to note is that V equal to VOV by M plus minus all this. Okay. Now this is the solution of the equation. Okay. But which of them will be true? Plus or minus? Remember, the maximum VDS, maximum value of V is how much? Notice the maximum value of V is VDS. Okay, that is so. And VDS, it happens to be VOV by small m. So over here, what we observe is that, so since V max, or rather, shall I put it like this: maximum of V is equal to VDS. This implies that V is always less than VOV by M, or let us say equal to. Correct? So because VDS, we have seen VDS equal to VOV by small m from this relation. We have got it. So if this is so, then obviously in this relation, this plus is impossible. Okay. What we can do rather is that I'll just copy this. VOV by M. So I'm just trying to write it separately so that you do not have any confusion later. Okay. Now, so I have found a relation between V and VOV, which we know. Small m is again something we know. X is an unknown variable, so that is something we have to deal with. L and VDS, these are all something known to us. Now, this instantaneous value of V, please understand, many of you might be lost. Small x and capital V is not known to us. Okay? Because this is an arbitrary value of x, arbitrary value of V inside the channel, which will essentially depend on the channel length modulation, that is the pinch off region. कितना pinch off region है हमें पता नहीं है. It can be somewhere here also. It can be somewhere there also. Right? We do not know that. So we have to essentially find out some way or the other so that we can essentially relate this small x and capital V with the voltages which we are applying and the channel length which we already know. What is the channel length we know? That is capital L we know. We know VDS, we know VGS, we know even VT. Therefore, we know VOV also, but we do not know this V, capital V. So just to eliminate that uncertainty sort of thing, we are essentially dealing with this capital V. But remember, this uncertainty is going to be very difficult for us because if we do not know the exact value of small x, we cannot find out the charge here in this region, and then we cannot find out the CGS now. Gate to drain capacitance, CGD, very simple. No channel, zero. Cool. But gate to source capacitance, कैसे निकालोगे? You cannot find out the trapezoid or I mean, this is a, let us say, this triangle is here and there is a width W. But how do you find this charge over here? Because you cannot put X, because X is something which is very, very arbitrary. Got it? इसीलिए हम ये exercise कर रहे हैं. Okay, so once we have got the value of V, now what we will do is this V expression, I'll put it in the master equation for inversion charge. This is again something we know. All right. So once we put this capital V in this V over here, you will simply put that relation and we will soon notice that VOV cancels and out. And then we will use the point like at pinch off. What is the situation? Again, we have seen this. Correct. So I'm utilizing the same relation here. VOV equal to MVDS. VOV equal to MVDS. Okay. So what we will observe here is that there is one MVDS here. This is also MVDS. So at pinch off, this VDS becomes equal to VDSAT. Correct. So Q inversion is equal to minus COX. These are gone. And instead of this MVDS, I will be replacing it by VOV. So the first thing we observe is this is x by L VOV square. This is minus 2 into x by L VOV square. So this 2 and this will cancel and you are left with only 1 minus x by L VOV square. So this VOV square is common. So I'll take it out outside the square, I mean square root. And here will be 1 minus x by L. So now what we realize is we have finally figured out a relation between the inversion charge in the pinch off as a function of x. This is what we wanted. Okay. Now we can carry out the integral which we are looking for in order, I mean the derivative which we are looking for in order to find out the capacitance. But before that, remember what is the dimensional analysis for this Q inversion? Again, Q inversion is related to per centimeter square. देखते हैं कैसे होता है. COX, what is the unit for that? Farad per centimeter square. VOV का क्या है? Volts. इसका क्या है? Remember, centimeter by centimeter, length by length, nanometer by nanometer. So this is again a unitless constant. So again, Farad into volts is Coulomb per centimeter square. ठीक है. So if we want to find out the total inversion charge at pinch off, we have to multiply with the area factor. ठीक है, क्या एरिया होगा? W. Okay, that is the width, and we will simply integrate this with respect to dx. ठीक है. Again, uh, previously when we were finding out the current, what was the integral? Notice it was W into dy. That means W is the depth and dy is direction mein. That is the channel cross section. Now, in this case, when we are trying to find out the total inversion charge, we are multiplying by the area factor. Which area factor? Area factor related to charges and capacitances. So W into dx. Kya hai W into dx? W is the depth of the device and dx is this length. So that means you are essentially effectively finding out the area on the gate terminal. Okay, everybody? So once we are doing the dx here, then this is integration by substitution of variable, very simple. 1 minus x by l ko u square ले लेंगे, 2u du will be minus dx by l, and then these are the boundary conditions, limits. So okay, this is very trivial, I'm not going into all that. Then once you do this integral, you are left with this factor. Remember, I have put a prime. As in our previous lecture on capacitances, I told you the primed quantity means the total charge, yeah, total capacitance, not per unit area. Again, let us see the units over here. W is in centimeter, length is in centimeter, centimeter or nanometer, whatever. COX happens to be farad per centimeter square. This is volts. So clearly you can see it's in Coulomb. Absolute charge. Now from here, what is the CGS dash? Because remember, this is now the total charge, right? So Q inversion dash. So CGS dash will be equal to simply the derivative of this with respect to VGS. Right? So the charge between the terminals, that is the total charge between this gate terminal and the source terminal, divided by the total voltage difference at this terminal and this terminal, that is VGS. Okay. Basically, this VOV is VGS minus VT. So there is only one VGS term here. So basically it becomes 2/3 WLCox. The minus is gone here because of the mod. All right. So this is your net saturation region capacitances. So saturation region capacitance का total CG capacitance क्या होगा? Total gate capacitance. Total gate capacitance. CG will be equal to CGS dash. I'll put a dash here plus CGD dash. In some textbooks, you will find this expression, but not a single textbook actually derives this. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So the value of x at which we are getting the pinch off is completely dependent on the doping concentration or some other
And small
parameters.
x?
Small x is depends on the doping. Like for this particular
No. The small x is an arbitrary one because even though, I mean, we are assuming that this is a gradual channel approximation, ये linearly graded है. We are assuming it. But in reality, it is very difficult for us to find out this value of x. So it is not only dependent on only the doping levels, it also depends on the distribution of the ions inside the depletion region. So again, we are assuming that inside the depletion region, all the dopants are uniformly spaced out, uniformly distributed. Again, that may not always be true. Right? So this X and V essentially depends on many different factors. It will also depend on the appearance of any of the defects inside the oxide. Okay. Whereas when we are essentially making a channel, then um, we do not have much, we do not have any kind of confusion about this. Because we know specifically, like this is the, these are the junctions, channel source junction and channel drain junctions. उसमें कोई dilemma नहीं है. The dilemma appears in X and V. So
Yes, sir.
X essentially depends on, even X depends on the interface states also. Yes.
So we are changing the VT. I mean, we are engineering the VT like that. Can we decide this VD set also? I mean,
No, this is not an influence on the VT, because remember, in the saturation region, it is far beyond the VT value. Correct.
yes.
So this is happening at the linear saturation boundary, which we will look into it when we are trying to find the CV curve. Okay. So in CV curve, it will become clear. This VT is over here. What we are speaking about, the saturation region or the pinch off region, occurs in the linear saturation boundary. It's much beyond VT, right? Okay. So now what we will do is, um, let me share with you the previous lecture. Okay. In our previous lecture, we had done subthreshold and linear region. Today we have completed the saturation region. Okay. Now let us find out what are the individual gate capacitances in each and every region. So the first one in the is the subthreshold region. Subthreshold region essentially means that the VGS is less than VT. So this is your subthreshold region. When VGS is slightly higher than VT, but it is less than MVDS plus VT. So what is MVDS plus VT? Remember, the linear saturation boundary happens when VOV equal to MVDS. Okay. So this is the point where VOV equal to MVDS, right? So what is VOV? VOV is VGS minus VT. So if we bring that VDS on the right hand side, it becomes VT plus MVDS. That's what I've written here. Okay. Now, please understand this very, very carefully. So the first thing is that this is sub VT. Okay. So before VGS comes over here, so what is the situation in this region? So this is VGS less than VT. No problem. Here, VGS is greater than VT, but it is less than, that means VGS minus VT is less than VDS. So this is less than MVDS plus VT. Or else, what we can understand, if we are thinking in terms of VOV, it becomes easier for us to see. VOV is VGS minus VT. So here it is, VOV is greater than 0. What does it mean over here? VOV is less than 0. VOV is VGS minus VT. Think about it. So if I subtract VT from all the sides over here, so VT minus VT, 0. VGS minus VT is VOV. MVDS plus VT minus VT is MVDS. In conventional devices, large devices, small m is equal to 1. So when VOV is less than VDS, remember, when VOV is less than VDS is which region? Saturation region. In this case, VGS you can see is greater than MVDS plus VT. So here MVDS plus VT इससे ज़्यादा है VGS. Again subtract VT from both sides. It becomes MVDS. This is VOV. So VOV is greater than MVDS. That means it is linear. All right. So now let us find out what is the influence on the um, various components of the MOSFET capacitances. First of all, what we will see is there is always some kind of parasitics there. Some parasitics will be there, and that parasitics, major component of parasitics will be the overlap capacitances, which we have not spoken of here. And this overlap capacitances comes because of faulty fabrication process. Okay? So what I'm suggesting is, suppose we are having a MOSFET like this, and we have made a gate like that. So from here to here is going to be a very high capacitance. Why? You have anyway put some charges on this side and this side on the gate terminal, and here you are going to have very high concentration of negative charges, irrespective of whether you are having anything on the channel or not. सोचो इस बात को. And this is going to be constant because this is basically overlapping over the source and the drain region. So this is called the COV, or the overlap capacitance. So this overlap capacitance is something which I'm going to draw right here. So the overlap capacitance is like the zero error, like the flat band voltage. So this is your W into L into COV. This L is, how should I, LOV rather, that is better. W LOV into COV. What is LOV? This is your LOV. That is the overlap capacitance. Let me write it red. But remember, this overlap capacitance ideally should not be there, but it is almost invariably present in any practical MOSFET. So this is overlap capacitance. So that will be equal to COV is equal to, we will consider them both together. Okay, LOV plus this LOV. So this LOV is essentially not just this one plus this one. It's not something like symmetric. So whether it is overlapping over the source region or the drain region, the sum of all this entire overlap region is LOV. W into LOV into COX actually. Okay, because this is the oxide region, so I'll put here COX. Okay, first thing. Now let me also, yeah, I will do it later. Then comes the second component. What is the second component? Let us find out from our previous lecture. Subthreshold region mein, what have we observed? That the total gate capacitance was dominated by CGB. Okay, but as you can notice that this is essentially, I mean, 1 upon COX plus 1 upon CDEP, and COX is very high. So essentially meaning that the CGB and CGS and CGD are all zeros. This region will be almost zero. So over here in the saturation region, so right now I am drawing CGD. So let me just write it here. So this line corresponds to COV. This green one relates to CGD. Okay, so in the subthreshold, what is the value of CGD? Is approximately 0. So I'm going to write that, draw that. In the subthreshold, it is 0. Now, after that, in the linear region, what is the value of CGD? कहाँ है CGD? WLCox by 2. ठीक है? And in today's lecture, we have seen the saturation region में what is the value of CGD? Again 0. So this is the saturation region, right? So the CGD still continues to remain at 0 throughout the entire saturation region. Then in the linear region, it becomes WLCox by 2. ठीक है? So if this is the value of WLCox, उसका देखो so this is basically COV plus WLCox. यहाँ पर कितना था? That was COV. So this is WLC COV plus WLCox by 2. So at this point, this will increase, and from here it is going to be flat in the linear region. This is CGD. Now we will look into the other one, which is the CGS. CGS. I'll put black. So again, let's get back. Subthreshold, what is the value of CGS? 0. In the linear, how much is it? CGS will be again WLCox by 2. It is the same as the CGD, correct? See here. So I'm going to draw it like that in the linear region. But in the saturation region, we have seen it is 2/3 WLCox. So if this is WLCox plus COV is a 0 error, so this is, you can see 2/3. So it will increase. It will come out here. So this is 2/3 WLCox, and essentially it will fall down and essentially come over here. So what we realize is that this capacitance over here is 2/3 WLCox plus COV. This is WLCox by 2 plus COV. So now what we get here is, okay, this is WLCox by 2, and here it is 2/3 WLCox. Okay, you can see this mark. So this part, this line is representing COV plus WLCox. This is COV. So you can see in the graph, so this is 6 boxes. So this is 3, 3. This is exactly half. Here it is 2 and 2. So that is 2/3 WLCox. Okay. Now, if we want to find out the total capacitance, which is the net capacitance, which is seen on the gate terminal, that is red color CG. Okay. This is equal to how much? COV, that is a 0 error, plus CGS plus CGD. Okay. all this, sum of all this, all of them. Then what is the situation here? Notice here it is only COV. Then in the saturation region, this is 2/3 WLCox, the remaining is the COV itself. So this is the 2/3 WLCox. So now when we are in adding it, so the only component of the CG is basically this 2/3 WLCox plus COV. Notice this is critical because CGD is 0 in the saturation region. So this is where your CG will come. But in the linear region, notice that both the green color is also here and the black is also here. So green and black is the CGD and CGS. So both of them plus COV basically goes to all the way to and this. Got it, everybody? So remember in our previous lecture as well as in VLSI design, you have seen, I have emphasized that why do we always consider the gate capacitance to be WLCox plus COV? This is the reason. The worst case scenario, the biggest internal capacitance which you will be observing is happens to be in the linear region. As you can see, the red color. Okay, let me remove that graph now. Okay, I can. Any question, anyone? Please. Okay, so this is again WLCox by 2. Whereas this one is always WLOV COX. Let me just put it here. It gets repeated everywhere. Is that okay? Is that fine for everybody? So whenever you are designing your circuits, you have to always keep in mind which region of operation you are. I mean, we cannot always say that, okay, definitely our device is always going to be in this region, except specific circuits. For example, a diode connection, it will always definitely be in saturation. We will look into it in your analog IC design. Whereas in digital application switching activity, as I have discussed in our previous lecture, one of the some of the transistors will always be in linear, the others will always be in saturation. Now among these two, we are always observing that the linear region is going to give the max highest amount of capacitance. The CG will be the highest. All right, but in certain applications where we are definite that it is always going to be in saturation, then this is the capacitance which will be seen. Okay, all right, that's all for today. Now in the Thursday's lecture will again be held in this online mode, but the lab session we will do it offline. Okay, those of you who are interested, they can come because that will be like the doubt clearing session. Okay, we are going to discuss this MOSFET concepts, whatever we have done, we will be doing it offline. But please note, I'll be teaching on the board. I'll be having 2 hours in my hand. So I'll be teaching on the board, but it will not be recorded. It will not be streamed also. Okay, because the students who are on campus, who are sincere enough to be on campus, they will get the benefit. Okay. The students who still did not bother to come to the campus, I mean, they need not, because that will be doubt clearing session. So these are already done, and videos are also shared on YouTube.